The state has agreed to pay 3 people who were victimized by their foster sibling.
They were all part of a family with a dark history. Our Jolani Martinez has tonight's top story.
Child Welfare Services has strict confidentiality policies, so it's impossible to know what goes on behind these doors. But the state has agreed to settle this lawsuit involving 3 foster kids who were sexually abused by a foster sibling in a Waimanalo home. This is the same family tied to Ka'anoy Kipapa, who 10 years ago, at age 16, stabbed to death his adoptive mother, Jolyn Kipapa. He claimed she abused him for years, and he was sentenced to 8 years. Ka'anoy isn't part of this new settlement, but 3 of his adopted siblings sued the Department of Human Services for placing a new foster child who was a known sex abuser in their household with other young children. Their attorney, Randall Rosenberg, says the state agreed to pay the 3 siblings $1.8 million.
It's hard enough for them to come forward to bring these claims when they've spent their entire lives trying to forget what happened. And then we forced them, unfortunately, in this process to relive it all over again. So many times it's momentous, it's life-changing to get these things resolved.
Rosenberg has also been hired by the family of Gianna Bradley, the 10-year-old Wahua girl who died in January of starvation, neglect, and pneumonia while in the care of her legal guardians.
It's emotional, it's horrible. You think that if we are able to get the public's attention or the state's attention on some of these cases and make it painful for the state to have made these errors by requiring them to pay money and the public embarrassment and everything else that goes on with it. But it doesn't seem to be enough to discourage the behavior from happening in the future.
But state leaders have been trying to fix the problems. Representative Lisa Martin, who chairs the House Committee for Human Services, says officials are exploring the legality of requiring more conditions for adoptive parents to get monthly payments from the state, things like providing school and medical records. Martin says the court system already changed some procedures for legal guardians.
6 months after becoming guardians and then annually thereafter, they have to fill out a form that shows the records of all their health care visits, including well child checkup, with permission for their pediatrician to provide information directly to the court, as well as information from the school. So there's, for the first time, this is something that legally they always could have done, but they didn't do in the past.
The state needs to get together with some of the agencies and some of the experts and maybe even some of the plaintiffs' attorneys who do this kind of work to try and figure out some practical solutions so that we don't hurt these children like they're being hurt currently.
Jolani Martinez, Hawaii News Now.
And DHS responded to our request for comment just within the hour, saying it cannot comment on pending litigation, but the department has introduced bills this legislative session to strengthen its programs.